Okay, y'all, for this video, we're going to continue on step 7. So it wants you to open up your layers panel. Your layers icon should look something like this, but if you don't see it, again, you want to go to window and look for layers here. Usually I have mine docked at the bottom here, but let's go ahead and click on this little arrow here to expand all our layers. If you hover over towards the bottom here, 2 arrows pop up telling you that you can make this panel larger, so I wanted to make sure I saw all my layers. It wants you to copy and paste back in place the skull, so let's actually rename layers now. I'm going to double click on this one because this is my head shape here, so I'm going to call this head. This is a guide. This is my left eye. So I'm going to do LI. Double click on this one, and this one's right eye. And then this is our nose. Okay, so by clicking on it, you can click on it right here, and it selects it. It's this empty box here. Once it's blue, that's telling you that this is the current object selected, and you'll see a blue line here. So you can either click on it here or use this to select it. And my favorite shortcut is Command-C to copy, and it wants you to paste it in place. So you can do Command-Shift-V or edit paste in place. Now it's moved up at the top, and it wants you to actually move this one right below the original. Okay, so this is going to be my copy. So I'm going to double click and call it head copy. So it wants us to turn off the original one, so we're going to click on this eye icon here, make sure that the copy is still selected. And it wants us to select the fill color to be black with no stroke. So we're going to do fill black, stroke, no stroke. Okay, it wants us to turn this skull back on. So now I'm going to click on this skull here, and I'm actually going to make sure the fill is set to white now. Alright, just so we can see it better. Now I'm going to click on the bottom one that we made earlier, so make sure this is blue here, and you want to go over to, we're now in step 9, object, path, offset path, and it wants you to type in, so in the tutorial it says 10 pixels, so we can enter 10 and then px, and then click on this limit box here to see what that looks like. So that was actually the 10px. It just recalculated it for us in inches, and you want to hit OK. So it looks like we have a bigger outline now, and this actually works better when you're trying to create even outlines, because if you start using the stroke and increasing the stroke, sometimes in the corners it starts to look really weird. So I always prefer to opt out using the offset path instead of the stroke, increasing stroke sizes. Alright, step 10 says we now have a thicker stroke in the back. It wants us to click on the nose object next, and then it wants us to make this be black fill, no stroke. So in my tools panel, I'm just going to click on this little arrow here above my fill and stroke to swap them. So this is a super handy tool. And it wants us to do the same with the eye, so I'm going to start swapping all of these now. Great, step 11 wants us to start adding some details, so create a new layer on top of all of the other layers. So the new layer button's down here. It's a little box with a plus sign. And let's call this one details, just so we know. Make sure that layer is highlighted. and then we can go to our regular pen tool. So the details it's talking about, let me get rid of this box here so you can see it on screen, are these right here. So let's go ahead and come to this corner here. And you can actually lock this if you wanted to. Come back to details. And oops. Say you want something like this. Everybody's details should be slightly different, so that's what makes this super fun. Don't worry if it's not perfect the first time, because we can zoom in, grab our direct selection tool, and then adjust these at will. To move handle points, remember you have to hold down the Alt Option key. So now we have features like this. I can come back and move this point too. Oops. All right. So that's one detail. It wants these other additional details here that you're going to create with the pen tool. So I'm going to hit pause really quick and create this one, and then this one here. For this one, you might be able to get away with using the line tool too, but let me hit pause while you guys work on that too. Okay, so now I've made all of these little detail shapes here, and we're going to use the reflection tool to copy them over as well. So look for your reflection tool or hit O on your keyboard to enable it. Remember, hold down the Alt Option key and then click in the middle guide here once, just regular click. You do want it to be vertical, and then you want to hit copy. So now we've copied all those over. Okay, so the next step is creating the eyeballs and the crack in the head, it looks like. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to zoom into one of the eye sockets here. And this is going to be a speed run because by this point y'all should know how to do an eye. So I'm going to do no stroke. The fill color is going to be this baby blue. Yours can be a different color. Then I'm going to copy this circle but make it black. Scale this down. And then copy this one, make it white, and then scale it down. So you are free to customize the eye color and then shape. Maybe you want to make yours more anime color, so you can. And for this one, I'm actually going to group them once I'm done. So click once on the white, hold down Shift, click on the black pupil color, keep holding down Shift and click on the blue. Then you can do Command G to group or right click group. Going to use the reflection tool again, hold down Alt Option and click on this guide here, and then hit copy. Okay, the crack in the head is the pen tool, y'all. Still in the details, so I'm just going to make sure there's no fill color actually for now. And then the stroke color for now will be black. Oops, I need to zoom in more because it's trying to close my path. So about there. You do not have to copy the cut perfectly. Just make sure you do close the shape. Now I'm going to reverse these and then center, oops, center that. Alright, step 15, you make a new layer and you drag it below the details. So this is going to be your shadows. And I'm actually not going to walk you through this one, but I'll show you what step you're in over here. Oops, did I locked that one. There we go. So there's a shadow behind the skulls, the crack in the head over here, behind each eye, by the teeth, the nose, and these curves right here. You could use the pen tool, but all I'm going to look for is that there is a shadows layer and that all of the shading is happening in this one here. So I'll do one. I'm going to lock these really quick. And for this one, I'm going to make sure that the fill is like this really light gray. It's actually way too out there. There we go. And if you see it coming out in a side that you don't want the shadow to come out on, you can again select your direct selection tool and fix the shadows. But this is actually overlapping this right here, so might have to actually move this down. There we go. Alright, y'all, so again, I'll leave you to this part on your own to make these shadow shapes here. If they are overlapping with something you don't want it to overlap with and the direct selection tool isn't helping you, then just adjusting them in the layers panel should work. But let me know if you guys need any help.